Good morning, happy Sunday. So yesterday we did our everything bagels and breakfast burritos, and today we need to can up the ground beef that I've had thawing in my fridge. So I had a wonderful morning this morning. I slept in until 9 o'clock and laid in bed until 10. My daughter is at her grandparents' house. She slept over there last night because they wanted to have her, and they have a play date scheduled for her today, so that'll be fun. But it was very nice to be able to just relax this morning and sleep in, and I love it. It was a good way to start my Sunday. So I have my iced coffee. I am one of those people that drink iced coffee even in the winter because I love it. So I also have my water. Stay hydrated. And let's get started with the projects that we have today. So first of all, we need to go to the basement to get the things that we're gonna need today. So I'm gonna bring this bin that I found and I will use it to carry everything up. So one of you actually suggested when I did my pantry tour video that I should use beef broth when I am canning ground beef. So I'm gonna try that today. So thank you so much for that suggestion. It sounds like it'll be really good because it'll just kind of soak in the flavor of the broth while it's in the jar. So I will be taking a couple jars of beef broth so I can use it for canning my ground beef. So normally I like to use the wide mouth jars for canning beef broth, but I don't have any wide lids that haven't already been used. I only have the regular mouth lids. So I'm just gonna can this ground beef in the regular mouth, which is fine. It's just a little bit harder to get the beef out when you're ready to use it, but that's okay. So I also need some canning supplies. So I'm gonna grab my funnel, my little debubbler, my jar lifter thingy, and then I'm gonna grab these two books. This is actually my instruction manual for my electric pressure canner, and then I also use this Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. I will link this in the description box as well if you're interested. And then I'm gonna need some lids for my jars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should fill 5 quarts with the amount of ground beef that I have. And I have exactly 5 lids left. Perfect. And I am gonna need this big bowl as well for our ground beef. All right, so now I just need to get my electric pressure canner. All right, we're ready. So since all of this stuff, my jars and even my canning supplies have been in my basement, I do wash it each time when I bring some up from the basement, just to make sure it's clean because, you know, it's a basement and it's a cellar type basement. So it just makes me feel better, but I will give these all a quick wash and then we will be ready to start cooking our ground beef. I did bring up 3 jars of beef broth. If I end up needing more than that, I will go get more, but I'm really excited to try it that way. Okay, I got all my stuff washed. So now that can be drying while I am starting to cook the ground beef. I kind of try to think a couple steps ahead to see like, okay, I can get this done so that this is happening while I'm doing the next step kind of thing. I do have laundry also that's in the dryer from yesterday that I didn't finish. So I'm still working on that too, but that's okay. So now we're gonna brown our ground beef. And then what I'm gonna do is, since I have 10 pounds of it, I'm gonna have to do it in chunks. So I'll do a couple pounds at a time. And I will strain it through my strainer, rinse it off because you want to get as much grease off as you can, and then I will put it in this bowl. And when you brown the ground beef, you want to almost completely cook it. So if there's a little bit of pink, that's okay because it will finish cooking while it's being canned. Side note, I hate browning ground beef. It's like one of my least favorite things. I don't know why. However, this thing makes it a lot easier. So I will link this in my description box as well. This pot, I have to do 2 pounds at a time. So I will get all of this browned and then I will be back. Okay, so now we are going to pack our jars, and I have all of this ground beef. So we'll see how many jars we end up filling. Okay, so I ended up with 7 jars of ground beef, and I am going to pour my beef broth in there. I'm keeping this all cold because I will just have the water in the canner be cold. You always want to make sure that the contents of the jar are around the same temperature as the contents of the canner so it doesn't shock the glass. So I'm gonna fill this up with broth. And then it'll end up being 2 batches. Oh my gosh. It'll end up being 2 batches that will go in the canner because my electric canner does hold 4 quarts. And we're gonna leave an inch of headspace. Okay, so now I have them all filled with water and I'm going to debubble. So you basically just stick this in there a few times, make sure to get all the air bubbles out. And then sometimes you have to top it with a little bit more water because everything kind of settles when you do that. So you just want to double check your headspace, and then we will wipe the rims of the jars with a paper towel with a little bit of white vinegar on it. All right, so now we have all these jars set, so we are going to place lids on each of them and then put the rings on. When we put the rings on, we are going to just screw them on fingertip tight, so you don't want to screw them on, you know, as tight as you can. And then we will be all ready to place these into our canner. So I'm gonna add 8 cups of water to my electric pressure canner, and then I will load it up. Okay, so I filled this up with 8 cups of water, and then I put the 4 jars in there and I closed the lid. So I have the little vent thing at the top on exhaust, and for every pressure canner, the instructions are a little bit different. So if you are pressure canning, especially if you're new to it, just make sure you read your instructions on the instruction manual. I refer back to that every time I pressure can. But we are going to pressure can this for 90 minutes. So what it's gonna do is it will, we're gonna do high pressure, and then we are going to set it for 90 minutes. And then when we press start, it's gonna do this little thing, and then it's going to get up to pressure. It's going to vent the steam for 10 minutes, and then it will start counting down from 90. And at that point, we have to then switch the vent to airtight, but then it will count down to 90, and then it will be done. We turn the canner off, we let it sit until it's completely cooled down, which is about an hour, and then we will be able to take it out and do the next batch. Now you might think that a stovetop canner is better because you can fit more jars in there. I think my stovetop, I can fit 7 quart jars, so I'd be able to do all this in one batch. But for me personally, the fact that I don't have to babysit this and I can just have it going while I'm doing other things, I'm gonna go do laundry while this is canning, that is just worth every penny in my opinion. So I will also link the electric pressure canner that I have in the description box. It is a little bit of an investment, but it is a lot cheaper. The one that I got is a lot cheaper than like the Presto brand one. It's almost half the price, I believe, if I remember correctly. So, and I absolutely love it. So we will get this pressure canning, and then I'm going to go do some laundry. So I'll be folding some clothes. I'll do a time lapse of that so you can join me, and then we'll be back to take our beef out once it's done. All right, we have 3 loads of laundry to do, so buckle up. So I got my first 2 loads of laundry put away. I'm waiting for the 3rd one to finish drying. I have my canner going away. It's 12:30 and I haven't eaten yet, so I've heated up one of the breakfast burritos that I made in the last video. I pulled it out of the freezer. Ideally, I would have thawed it overnight first, but I didn't think about it. So I put it in the microwave on defrost for a minute, and then I cooked it for a minute, and I flipped it halfway through defrosting and halfway through cooking. And it is perfect. So I am going to enjoy this and watch Becky from Acre Homestead's new video that she just uploaded. And then we'll be back when I am finishing the laundry and getting the ground beef out of the canner. All right, so I have my second canner full going, and the first ones, you can see, they're still nice and hot. I already had 2 of them pop, so that's exciting. But I think we got a good amount accomplished today. We ended up with 7 quarts of ground beef, and I got all my laundry done, so that is a great feeling going into this week. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate you spending this time with me. We will have more videos coming up in the next several months of different freezer videos, freezer meals, and getting closer to gardening season, there will be more gardening types of videos as well. So I would love it if you subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.